everybody. Welcome back to MoneyWise Wednesday. So behind us, we have either our first car we ever drove or the first car we wanted to be our first car to drive. I got to give a shout out to our winner from last week's drawing. I wanted to give a shout out today to Shasta Pitts. She was our winner from last week, so congratulations to her. And don't forget that you can comment, like, share, be entered to win. Why don't we make it a little more enticing? And why don't we just do a $100 gift card this month? Okay, but here's the kicker. Let's see. You have to like and share the post, and you have to comment with a picture of your first car. Okay, if you don't have a picture of your first car, that's fine. You can use a stock picture and you'll be win. And we'll just do a $100 card. How about that?
Look at that. That's what I'm talking about.
Like, share. You got to do all three. Like, share, and comment your first car with a picture. And then don't forget to complete playlist, which we're going to be teaching off of a playlist today. Herschel's going to be using that as our curriculum today to show you where to go to complete more of our playlist, and you're entered to win the $100 monthly gift card. And we're going to be doing that drawing for May today. So I can't wait to announce who our winner is on the next one for that big boy of $100. So, all right, Herschel, lead us on.
Good afternoon and welcome back. We're going to be talking cars and car loans. Well, we've had an opportunity to share some of our first cars and what terms and conditions were. We're hopeful that some of the information that we're going to bring you today will help you in your journey to purchase your first car, whether it be new or used, and how you can come up with the terms and conditions as well as the financing opportunities. We're going to be teaching today from MoneyWise the foundation piece under car loans. So follow along this journey with us. So getting started with your car loan, right? So the first thing you want to do is honestly figure out whether or not there is a true need for a car loan, right? Sometimes in a position, you find that you can purchase the car without having to actually finance or seek funds to purchase the car, right? So buying a car is a big decision that may feel intimidating or confusing. Let's take a look at some resources, options, and steps to help you guide through this car buying experience. There are a couple of ways that you can buy a car. As Kelly and myself, and even Kelly all share with you, we purchased our cars by utilizing cash, right? We saved up, we made that purchase, and then we own that car outright. Some of the prices that we pay for the cars are going to blow you away from the number of prices that people pay for cars today. Cars are expensive, with the new luxury models continuously costing tens of thousands of dollars. Luckily, there are several options available to help you buy your new car. Even if you can't pay the full cost in cash, in fact, 85% of buyers use some form of financing to purchase that car that they're looking for. Paying cash. Paying cash for a car means that you're paying for the entire car outright up front. It's yours. You individually own it. There's also an opportunity called leasing. It's basically a long-term rental with conditions that you may or may not find to your liking. So it's an option for you. You could also select to finance a car. What that means is that you'll come in and you'll speak with a lending institution to lend you the money to make the purchase that you'll pay back to that lending institution until you own that car outright. How can financing help me? Financing a car means you can enter into a contract with a lender and agree to pay that amount financed plus interest over a period of time. Remember, we talked about interest a few modules back, a few sessions back. Interest in turn means money that you pay back. Every time you hear the word interest, it's money you pay back, right? There are two main types of financing, direct and dealership. With either method, you need to shop around and possibly negotiate to get the best deal. There's no one that's going to help you figure out the car that you need on the terms that you need it other than yourself. Always, always think for yourself. Who do you negotiate your loan with? Direct financing means that you obtain a loan directly from a finance company, a bank, or credit union. Again, that means they're giving you the money to make that purchase in an agreement that you'll pay it back over time. Dealer financing means that the dealer generally collects information from you and arranges the financing with the lender on your behalf. Now, like I'll share with you, Envision and a number of other institutions provide what we call dealer financing. That's a relationship that the dealership has set up with that lending organization to help really truly vessel and channel the information that they'll need to provide for the financing or the purchase of that car. So they're basically, in essence, doing all the work for you, documentation-wise, and they're only leaving it up to you to select the car that you'd like, right? Who do you make your monthly payments to? Direct financing, again, means that you walked into a lending institution after searching, right? Sampling the market, right? Checking interest rates, right? Those are the things that you're going to do for direct financing before you so set your decision on financing with that lending organization in itself. That means that payment is going to be made back to them directly, right? They gave you the check to get the car, now you pay them back over time. Dealer financing, the dealer sells the contract to a financial institution like a bank or a credit union that the institution will collect the payment. Same difference, but you're going to go a different route of getting approval for that purchase and that car itself. What are the advantages of each, right? And I think I've shared a little bit, so I'm going to go into a little bit more detail. Direct financing, you can find competitive rates. Again, you do all the legwork. You shop the market, you look to determine whether or not the rate is beneficial for you and your budget and what you can repay, right? Some financial institutions offer discounted rates for their customers, such as credit unions. We offer a number of different programs for teachers, educators, since we are a financial institution based on education solely. So we really, truly try and cater to that demographic, but also to all of our members are alike. Someone's gonna qualify for something special in the credit union. I can almost assure you of that. Dealer financing, the dealer does the work for you and may offer competitive terms if you negotiate with them. Again, right? So the dealer's doing all the legwork. Dealerships may offer flexible options if you are starting to build your credit or have a lower credit score. Pause, right? So just because the dealership is offering you special programs to help you with that purchase transaction, that doesn't mean you can't ask the financial institution that you're currently banking with or that you're considering banking with if they offer special purchase options for first-time, new buyers, credit establishers alike. Do not be afraid to ask. That's part of negotiating, right? Look out for yourself first. How much should I spend on a car? Whew, here we go. Now I'm going to invite some of my teammates in because this is where it really truly gets exciting. How much should I spend on a car? There have been times in the past leading different retail centers within the Tallahassee market that I've been presented with. I want to buy this car. Nice. How much is that car going to cost? $80,000. Whoa. Right? You may think that's a shocker, but I can promise you these ladies are about to share a quick story about some of the numbers that they've been presented with for car purchases. Kelly, IE, can you share with us a little bit about how much a car should cost and why it should be within your budget?
So the simple rule to look at when you're purchasing a car is the 20-40-10 rule. So it should be you should have 20% to put down, meaning that in cash on hand, you should, before you consider financing, you should be able to put 20% of what you want to purchase down. You look at a 4-year loan term, which is a 48-month loan term, and then it should be equal to or lower than 10% of your annual income. So we've got Jay, who the cost of his dream car is $25,000. His gross income per month is $3,250, and he has $1,000 to put down. So if he can get a car loan at a 4% interest rate, can he reasonably afford the car? And let's look at the calculations. So the cost of the car less the down payment, he's got $1,000 to put down. So that would be $24,000. His interest rate on the principal would be $960 if he can get the 4% interest rate. And so the total cost of the loan is going to be $24,960. Divide that by the number of months, which is the 48 months. And that means his monthly payment would be $520. So his goal is $325. So that's a big difference. So you need to really consider if that's the right car for you at the time, if your payment is going to be about $200 more. And this is where that budgeting comes into play, because we've already talked about budgeting multiple times. If you know that your budget can handle that, then it might be okay. But in this situation, when we're just looking at the 2410 calculation, this would be over his budget. I'm a car person. I love cars and I love shopping for cars. And you find it, you have this car that is your dream car and you have to have it. But what happens is that dream changes over years, and that dream car that you had to have is not the dream car that you need 5 years down the road, and you're still sitting with a payment that you may not be able to afford, and a car that you really found out wasn't the car that you needed after all or wanted after all.
All right, moving on. 3 simple steps to apply for a car loan. First and foremost, evaluate your budget. Kelly hit on this first and foremost. It's all about pre-approval. Match the car to your budget. Not your budget to the car. You're already working backwards at that point. You're going to be in a hole before you even drive off the lot, okay? Evaluate your budget. Decide how much you can afford. Be mindful of gas, maintenance, and monthly car payments and insurance. Keep in mind, the higher end the car, most likely the higher the insurance premium is going to be. The higher the fuel consumption is going to be, not only by way of usage, but also by gallon rate, right? So if you're going to have to use a foreign or higher end car, just assume that you're going to have to use premium octane, right? You already know that it's going to be in probably the higher amounts per gallon than you would normally use for a used model car with moderate issues that you can most likely expect to have to maintain throughout the course of that car's lifespan, right? All right, so that's first. The interest rate of your car loan depends on your credit history and other factors. For this exercise, we use some calculations for educational purposes only. Kelly, I'm going to turn it over to you. Just let you kind of pop in some numbers.
Okay, so let's do this together. Let's do an estimate of our monthly payment. Do you guys have a guess of what you think the average is?
32?
It's about 35, yeah.
35?
Yeah, 32 to 35, yeah. So let's go 32, I like that. And money down. So if we're doing the 10%, right, we should be putting down a lot of money.
You should be. But how often does that happen, Kelly?
Yeah,
really quick. Keep going.
I mean, so let's just say we're putting down 3,200, which again is not a normal scenario. How many months will you need to pay off the car loan? Well, of course, I don't want to have the car longer than 3 years, or the car loan longer than 3 years, right? I remember when I was younger, 3 years was the number. 36 months, your car's paid in full. Nowadays, 6 years is the norm. Let's just go 36 months. Let's take a look at how shocking the number is, even with putting.
I'm scared to look.
No.
$833 a month. Some of you guys are like, No, or some of you guys are like, yep, that's me.
Yeah, that's true.
That's my situation. So,
wow.
So, okay, so we'll save some money, right, if we go out in our term. So let's just say we do the 60 months, which is 5 years. Went down a little bit. $500 is still a lot. And depending on what your income is for the month, anyway, so that's kind of an example. Let's be modest here. Let's say, let's jump down to 22. I don't know what you can buy for 22 these days, but assuming we still
somebody else's problem.
Right. Look at this. So much more realistic. 343. And this is just the car loan, guys. You guys paid, Herschel paid $150 more for his car in cash and never had to pay another penny. Kelly, you were about $100 less. Right? Sweet man let you go get gas with what you had left over.
He did.
But, like, we still have to put gas in our cars. We still have to have insurance. We still have to have maintenance. I mean, oh my goodness, there's just so much.
So much.
So this calculator is really cool. If you're watching this and you want to hunt for a car or not sure what you can afford, or you have a dream car in mind, come in here, plug the numbers in, and this is only based on an average of 4.2%. Our part of the country and majority of our membership, unfortunately are not in a credit tier that allow them to have a rate even this low. So there's a lot of factors leading up to ownership of a car that we've been hoping to help you with MoneyWise Wednesday by teaching you ways to put some things into practice to increase your credit score, to lower your interest rate over time. So if you want the best interest rate, questions we would ask for you then is, if you're not quite at a reasonable interest rate that makes your car payment affordable for you, what do you need to continue to do to get there, and can you wait? Can you continue your current transportation situation for a number of period of, X number of period of time until you get there, so that you don't feel like you're jumping into, because that's unfortunately the situation we find a lot of folks is they're desperate because they can't ride the bus, or they can't find a friend, or they can't afford Ubers, right? And so they go ahead and say, well, I found a car dealer that would finance me, but it's at 22% interest, 18% interest, right? And it probably doesn't run that well. So then if it does die, it's still on you to make those payments. It's just, puts you in a vicious cycle that just gets so much harder to dig out of.
The life of a loan. There are certain milestones to keep in mind throughout the life of a loan. Understanding each milestone and what is expected of you is important to help you stay on top of managing this financial commitment, which is really, truly a big commitment. The second, probably single biggest one outside of a traditional mortgage for your home. Sign an agreement. What happens? You have decided on a lender. Negotiate the terms on the agreement and determine the amount that you need, not just the amount offered by the lender. What should you do? Read the entire contract carefully and ask questions about any terms before you sign. And I've said before, and I'll say it 1,000 more times, right? The bold print giveth, and the small print taketh away. Please ask questions. There's nothing wrong with taking that contract to a second set of eyes and say, am I missing something here, right? Make payments. What happens? Your lender will give instructions on where and how to submit payments. Follow these instructions and make payments on time. We talked about credit performance several weeks back in one of our credit workshops that we provided here on this platform. Making your payments on time is making up 35% of your credit score enhancement. Please make those payments on time. They are very, very important. What you should do. If you cannot make a payment on time, contact the lender right away and see if they have a solution. I'll challenge you all that if you don't have someone that's on the inside that you can speak with for the institution that you're lending with, that is not your preferred lender. You need reaching out to someone that you can build a relationship and rapport with, because hard times happen, right? Bad things happen to good people all the time, right? Happens. That's the world we're living in. Start building those relationships. They're truly important, and they'll come in good hand in the future. Make your final payment. What happens? The lender has a lien on your vehicle. That means that in theory, you own the vehicle, but not in reality until you pay that last payment and they release something called a lien. That means that nothing can be done with that car. You can't sell it. You can't do anything until you confirm, right? And you get approved from the current lender that you're going to make these appropriate transactions, restructuring, whatever type of loan that you may have. The lender has a lien on it. They'll release that lien once that last payment is made. What you should do, obtain the title of the car, if necessary, and keep it in a safe place. Check your credit report annually. 2 reasons why, really quick. That title shows ownership. That's your contract now. You now own that car. You are in possession of ownership status of that car. You can do it with whatever it is that you wish. Second thing, check your credit report. You want to ensure that sometimes system mistakes happen. It could continue to report or not report in your bureau, ultimately affecting your credit score. So make sure you're doing due diligence on your part and making sure you're checking your report annually to ensure that all reports are accurate and on time. Key points about car loans. Buying a car is a big financial decision, like we shared before, probably the single most important purchase outside of a traditional mortgage. Find the best car loan for your budget is done by understanding the process, ignoring your options. A really quick recap. 1, know your budget, right? Kelly shared with us, get pre-approved. That means look at your budget, go speak with a financial lender, and determine whether or not their services or products meet your budget needs, right? Know your budget. Gather the documents. Be ready to provide a number of documents to, 1, prove your identity, ability to pay, and your driving record. Sometimes it may even up as a recommendation or supplement documentation to support your financial request. Compare offers. Shop for you. Don't shop for anyone else. Nobody else is going to do the shopping for you. You are your own best advocate for this type of transaction. I can assure you, okay? Shop around for good deals and pay attention to special terms, interest rates, contract length, payment amounts, and car value.
We've purchased quite a few cars in our time. And although I was in the car business before, I am not a big fan of negotiating. It scares me. It scares me to know if I'm getting a good deal, a bad deal. It can be overwhelming. So what I've done, I've always gone to the credit union and told them what I want to do. And then I've reached out. A lot of the credit unions have a car buying service. Ours, we have Auto Advisor, and the person's name that runs it is Don. Don's been in the car business forever, but we've probably bought and sold about 12 cars through him. And it's one of those things where I don't have to negotiate. I've learned that I can get the best deal possible through him, and he's checked the cars, and I'm still going to check the car, but he's done all the negotiating for me. So I don't have to worry about anything. I go in and I sign the papers, and it's a service that we provide, that the credit union provides to our members, and it's a free service. So just if it's overwhelming, you don't have to use him. You don't have to use a car buying service at all. but know that that option is another one that's out there, and I recommend it full-heartedly. I can't say, I mean, we have bought a ton of cars through him. So it's
Thank
just
you for
peace of
sharing
mind.
that.
It takes the stress out of car buying because you don't have to play that game.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Steps for buying your car. Know your rights. The Truth in Lending Act legally requires lenders to provide the following key information before you sign. The annual percentage rate. That's the APR. That's the money that you're going to be paying back for them letting you borrow the money over time. The amount of finance charge and how this amount was determined, right? There's an amount that you have to pay in order for us to process a request, us being lending institutions or organizations alike, right? The total amount to be paid, including down payment, remaining balance, and interest. Ask these questions, please. They are required to share this information with you. The remaining amount of the money to be financed after the down payment. That's what you're going to be paying back in theory over time, plus interest. Know your limits. Just because you have been approved for a certain amount of money on the loan does not mean that you have to use it all. 1 second. 1 second. Let that soak in.
Say it again, Herschel.
Just because you have been approved for a certain amount of money on the loan does not mean you have to use it all. Stick to your budget and only borrow the amount that works for you, right? I don't know your budget truthfully. You don't know, I don't know what you pay outside of what you tell me. Only you know that truth. That's your truth. Follow the 24-10 rule of thumb. 20% down payment, 4 years to finance, and 10% of your gross income. If it exceeds that, back away, start over. Again, don't make your budget work for the car. Make your car work for the budget. Know your deals. Ask the dealer about manufacturing incentives. They'll tell you if there's a best way to go about this transaction to save you and it's favorable transaction for you. They'll tell you. Rebate specials and discounts. Ask. It never hurts to ask. Don't be that person to say, I'm too bashful to ask about discounts. Do you honor a discount? Can I have a discount? Ask about the discounts. That's why you're there. Ask about them. Negotiating the annual percentage rate, the APR, right? That's the money that you'll be paying back over time. I can encourage you to try and visit one of the credit unions that are within your community, because we are known, and this isn't a plug, this is fact, we are known for providing some of the best interest rates for products within the credit union community. If you have a community bank, they may offer the same parallel lines of products and services. So I challenge you to go there as well. Just because someone offers a best rate does not mean they offer the best service. So you need to make sure that you compare those for long-term relationship, because that car may or may not last you for the longevity of time, and you may need to use that service or the institution again.
Thank you, Herschel. Wonderful job. Oh my gosh, I think we could talk hours. We really could talk hours about the buying process and the negotiation process, the approval process, how it affects credit. Oh my gosh, there's so much around this. But a few things came to mind that we don't really have a whole lot of time to talk about, but I just wanted to throw it out there for you to go research or talk to a member service representative about in the event that you are in the market for shopping for a vehicle. And that is, when Herschel was telling you about the two different ways to get financing, he said you can either go ahead and get pre-approved first, or you can do dealer financing, okay? When you do dealer financing, just be prepared. Sometimes dealerships will do what they call what we call shotgun financing, where they will shoot your credit report out to multiple lenders. They may have deals on the back end with certain finance companies on incentives for their dealership to get more business for the financing company. So not all are like this. Some do though. And some people will notice that there are multiple inquiries in a very limited period of time for multiple, and that's just not great for your credit, right? I think there's proposed legislation out there to protect consumers from stuff like that, as far as how it affects your score now than it did, say, 10 years ago. But just be mindful of that. You can walk into a dealership and say, nope, I've already got pre-approved. Here's my pre-approval letter. This is who I'm going to go with. It's going to be financed by Envision. And you don't have to worry about any of that nonsense. The other thing is gap and mechanical breakdown, which is a fancy word for warranty, right? So always, 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 always get gap. Always get gap.
Say it again. Say it again.
Always. Always get gap. If you don't know what it is, go Google what is gap. you can purchase gap and mechanical breakdown through the credit union. It is also offered through the dealerships. I encourage you to compare prices. Compare prices. 9 times out of 10, we're going to be less expensive, but there may be that one off where you have a really good, something offered depending on who the dealership is and where you're purchasing from. Do your research. If you have peace of mind knowing that you're getting a mechanical breakdown or an extended warranty of some kind, just do your research first, find out everything that it covers in the cost, and compare it with what the credit union offers, because it can also be financed in. But remember, it makes the overall loan balance go up, right? Because mechanical breakdown and gap cost money. Gap is dollars a month, worth every penny. Also, I wanted to mention Envision Credit Union. We currently have an auto program going on right now. So if you go to the website and just click on loans and mortgages, and then over here to auto, it's going to take you to this auto page, and it's going to talk to you about, share with you about our 90-day no pay program that we have going on right now for auto loans. So if you're considering financing a vehicle, right, to help pay it off faster, first time auto buying, whatever it is, go to this site to find out a little bit more about how you might be able to qualify. And we also have our promo rate is as low as 2.99% right now, up to 72 months. So Herschel said it best, we have the best rates. Credit unions are known for this. That's our job, guys. We're here to lend so that you can accomplish what you want to accomplish at as little cost as possible. So please go here to the site. You can actually apply right here online, or if you have a favorite financial center, financial centers are open now. Again, this week we've reopened our financial centers. You can call for an appointment still if you'd like to, or fill out an appointment request online. Get started online today.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Kelly. So before we close out, I'm going to offer up some time for Kelly IE to share our last few words before we exit from this session. Kelly?
Thanks, Herschel. The one thing I would like to stress to you is buying within your means. Find out what you're pre-approved for, and not only what you're pre-approved for, but what you can actually afford. Because it's kind of like that house thing where you get pre-approved for this, but what you can really afford is this. Know what you can afford, live within your means, and it takes all the stress out of your life if you're living within your means and driving a car that you can afford, and doing all the right things. So not only are you're shopping for a car that you can afford, that looks good, drives well. One thing we didn't touch on is take it somewhere and have it looked at to make sure that you're getting a good deal before you drive it off the lot, because just because it looks good and it's in your price range doesn't necessarily mean that it's the car for you. Take it and have it looked at and make sure that everything's good with it, and then you're good to go. You're going to pay off that car. You're going to be able to afford the car. You're going to be able to pay it off, and you're going to be able to go to the next one, your next dream car.
Wise words from Kelly IE. Thank you for sharing that. So that does it for our car buying and the difference between owning, leasing, what options are out there. This is only the beginning of this conversation. There's so much more to share. Our platform only allows us to share so much. That does not mean that you can't contact us to find out other information that we have readily accessible for you by way of our MoneyWise Wednesday sessions, our playlist that we provide for you, absolutely free to you as our members and our viewers. So take advantage of some of those resources, some of those avenues that can help enhance your skill set before you go out into the market of the car buying world. That being said, remember to like, share, and comment a picture of your first car for an opportunity to win a $100 gift card.
Thank you again, Herschel, so much. See everybody same place, same time next week. Y'all have a great week. Bye-bye.
Drive safe.